The film begins with Lou, who is stealing scrap metal from the streets. A security officer approaches him and asks, "What are you doing?" He replies, "I'm lost." The officer says, "Show me your ID then." Lou looks at his watch and pretends to be getting his ID, then attacks the officer, steals his watch, takes the scrap to his car, and leaves. He goes to a contractor to sell him the scrap, and they haggle over the price. Lou says, "I need a job. I'm ready to work. I'm very hardworking, and I want you to trust me. What do you think? Should I start working tomorrow or today?" The contractor refuses. Lou says, "What about putting me on a training period without pay?" The contractor says, "I don't hire thieves here." Lou smiles at him and leaves, driving away. Very upset. Suddenly, he sees police cars and an accident on the road. He pulls over to the side. A press photographer gets out to film the accident, along with his assistant. Lou watches him intently as he films, fascinated. When he finishes, Lou asks him, "Which channel will this air on?" The photographer says, "No, they'll pay us more." Lou asks, "How much do they pay you?" He says, "Barely enough. It's a tough job." Lou says, "Can you hire me?" The photographer says no. When the photographer hears about another nearby accident, he quickly calls his assistant to go to it. The next day, Lou watches the news until he finds the video that was filmed. He goes to think to himself and makes a decision. He sells his bike at a shop and buys a video camera and a police radio scanner instead. When he hears about a nearby accident, he goes to film it. It's his first time holding a camera, but the police prevent him from filming and push him away from the victims. When he hears about a second accident, he rushes to it, but finds a photographer has beaten him to it. He gets closer to the victim, so the paramedics push him away, and the police escort both of them away from the scene. The photographer yells at him, "You ruined everything and got us kicked out," and curses at him. Lou sticks around and overhears him selling the video he filmed to a specific channel, describing the accident he covered. When the photographer sees him watching, he yells at him. Lou goes to the same channel and introduces himself as a press photographer. The director likes the videos he has. He shows her one of the videos. She is impressed by the close-up shots, but the channel's presenter doesn't like the video because it contains gory scenes. However, she believes that's what will get views. Lou develops his skills to make the footage better and agrees to contact her immediately whenever he has new footage, especially crime videos where the victims are rich and killed by the poor. He is happy and leaves. He waits to see his video on TV and watches intently. He searches for police codes broadcast during incidents, writes them down, and places an ad that he needs an assistant. Rick applies, and Lou interviews him to hire him. He learns that Rick's circumstances are difficult and that he really needs the job. Lou confirms that Rick knows the area's streets well and that his phone has GPS. He agrees to hire him, telling him, "Your job will be to focus on the police transmitter, know the codes well, and find the route via GPS." They agreed on $30 a day. They keep monitoring the police radio, waiting for any incident, until they hear about a fire nearby. That's it. They quickly head to the location. Lou explains to Rick how to navigate using GPS. Lou drives very fast, confusing Rick, who gives him wrong directions. Lou gets annoyed when he realizes Rick made a mistake in describing the location, causing them to be late. They arrive late indeed. The photographer colleague has already arrived and says, "The ambulance left 2 minutes ago. You're late. Too bad." Lou is very upset and says, "You wasted our gas money," and gets angry at him for causing the delay. In the second incident, Lou explains the route correctly to Rick and they arrive. Lou sends Rick to film a shooting incident in a residential area. Lou takes advantage of the fact that the victims, the homeowners, are standing with the police. He enters the house from behind them and films everything inside. He edits the footage to get more impactful shots. He even gets the victims' names from the male present. When the director sees the video, she likes it very much, but the presenter asks him, "How did you get in?" He says he definitely entered without permission and that's wrong. She says to the presenter, "That's my job. You mind your own business." Lou thanks her for airing his video. She smiles and says, "Where did you learn all this?" He says, "From the internet. I didn't have the chance to study like other people, but I work hard and feel that filming incidents is something I love and am good at." She says, "Your check is on the desk," and thanks him. He watches the new video he filmed and uploads it. He films many videos for her and she airs them. Every day is better than the last. to the point where he buys a new car to help him reach crime scenes faster. When he hears about a car flip accident with injuries, they rush to it. He sees a man calling for an ambulance and yells at him because he's delaying the rescue of people. He runs to the accident site and drags the injured person next to the car to get a better shot, showing no concern for his injury or empathy whatsoever. He finishes filming before the police and ambulance arrive. The other photographers arrive late and are very jealous of him. The director gives him the new check, pleased with him. He pressures her to go out to dinner with him at a Mexican restaurant, implying romance. When she refuses, saying, "I'm older than you and not used to having relationships with anyone at work to avoid gossip," he says, "But your refusal will ruin the work." She smiles and senses from him that if she doesn't comply, he will go to other channels. The next day, the photographer colleague comes to him and says yesterday's video was good. Lou learns that he has a very expensive camera with better quality, that he works with a large team, that they will beat him to every incident, and he offers to work together and split the money 50-50, using his press pass and his connections with the police. Lou says, "Thanks, I'm happy as is." The colleague says, "You'll lose a lot, because my team and I will get there before you." Lou says, "I don't care." Lou and Rick are heading to an incident. Rick says, "I've been with you for 2 months now, and you still haven't increased my salary. I'm tired of your promises." Lou says, "Go check other salaries, and if you find one you like, go for it." When they hear about a plane crash, they rush to it quickly, but upon arrival, they are surprised to find the photographer colleague has arrived before him. He says, "The exclusive video is mine alone. The rest of the team is at the other incident filming it. I told you to work with me, come on now." When Lou goes to the channel and shows her a video of a regular accident, she asks, "Where's the plane crash video?" She yells at him because other channels have the plane crash video and will take her viewership. She tells him she is very upset with him for not keeping his promise to her. Lou gets very upset. When he goes home and sees the plane crash video he missed, he gets very angry, breaks the mirror, and goes to do something to his colleague photographer's car, then leaves. At night, Rick is surprised that they are rushing so fast to a regular car accident, even though there is a more important rape incident. When they arrive, it turns out to be his colleague photographer's car accident. Rick is surprised when he finds their car flipped over after hitting a pole. Lou goes to film it after it crashed. Rick asks him, "What happened?" Lou says, "They say they were driving at high speed." He's about to go film. Rick says, "That's a shame. Don't film him. He's a colleague, one of us." But Lou goes to film him, happy that he has weakened his competitor. When they hear about an armed attack on a house, they rush quickly to the crime scene before the police arrive. Lou runs to film what's happening. He hears gunfire and sees the criminals coming out of the house. He sees their faces as they get into the car and also films the license plate number. He enters the house and films the details of the crime, people killed on the ground. He finishes filming and leaves before the police arrive. He pulls over, erases the criminals' faces and their car's license plate number from the video, and goes to the channel to sell it to them. When she sees the video, she likes it very much and asks the lawyer, "Is it legal to show their faces without the permission of their relatives?" The lawyer says, "No, it's preferable to blur their faces and not write the exact address." The presenter objects again because what's happening is unethical. She asks them to leave so she can negotiate the price with Lou. They negotiate a lot, but he says, "I know the value of this video well, especially since they are rich and were killed by the poor, just as you wanted, and it's very important to you." He pushes her to buy it from him for $15,000. When she refuses, he says, "Fine, several channels have contacted me." She agrees, but he sets a condition. From now on, his company's name will be displayed and mentioned in the video. He also wants her to introduce him to the station manager, directors, and reporters to develop his personal relations, and she must introduce them herself. He adds, "I'd prefer you not negotiate with me again, because I know the value of my work well. Also, I brought you a video of a car accident where photographers died for you to air on any regular day, and this is free for you." She is amazed by his manner, and indeed introduces him to the station manager. He expands his relations. When he sees his video being aired with his company's name mentioned and displayed in the video as requested, he is very happy. His video spreads across all channels, and his company's name becomes well known. The police come to his house asking about the video he filmed and whether he saw the criminals' faces or not. He tells them, "No, it was dark and I didn't see anything, but the car was black." They ask him for a copy of the video, and he agrees. They leave. He goes back to watch the original video, sees the criminals' faces and their car's license plate number. He searches for the license plate number, finds their location, and goes to pick up Rick. Rick asks, "Where are we going?" Lou says, "I cut out the part with the criminals' faces, but I managed to get their names and address, and we are going to them." Rick says, shouldn't we inform the police? Lou says, we will inform them, but at the right time. Rick says, haven't you increased my salary yet? Lou says, choose a number. Rick says, how about $75 a day? Lou agrees. Rick asks, is there a reward for informing on criminals? Lou says, yes, $50,000. Rick asks, will I get a share? Lou says, haven't I just increased your pay? Rick says, when will we inform them? Lou says, when the criminals get to a good place where we can film the arrest that will happen, then we'll inform the police. Rick insists on getting a share of the reward, especially since what they're doing is illegal, and he wants half the reward. Lou finds him greedy but is forced to agree. They wait until the criminals are in a restaurant. Lou calls the police about their location, describing the criminals' appearance and clothes, and that one of them is armed. He asks Rick to stand in a corner and film what will happen, while he films from the car. Rick says, no, that's dangerous and I'm afraid of getting hurt, but Lou pressures him to obey. Rick gets out, takes the camera, and waits. Lou films from the car. When the police arrive, he films from both angles. He sees the gun with the criminal and knows he will open fire on the police and kill them. Indeed, he kills them, and one of the criminals dies while the other is injured and escapes from them. Lou drives quickly, chasing and filming a complete pursuit with police cars behind them. One of their cars gets into an accident. The other car with the criminal keeps crashing until both flip over on the road. Lou pulls over after their car flips. He looks at the criminal and says to Rick, come on, film him, he's dead. Rick gets out and approaches the criminal to film him, but the criminal is still alive, sees them, and opens fire. Rick is standing filming. The criminal gets out of the car. The police arrive and kill him. Lou goes to his friend's side and films him dying. Rick says, you saw he was alive. Lou says, I can't risk my company for an untrustworthy employee. Rick says, you're insane. Rick dies. Lou takes his camera and goes to the channel, happy with his relationships. He shows the director the video, and she likes it very much. When she sees his friend, she asks, isn't this your friend? He says, yes. She hugs him because he brought her the video. When the police request the videos to understand how those police officers were killed and who orchestrated all this, the director refuses under the pretext of lacking a judicial order. The detective smiles at him and asks, how did you get to the restaurant and called the police? He says, I was standing on the balcony and saw a black car parked under my building. When I went down to work with my colleague, I found the same car watching me. I became suspicious, watched them until they entered a restaurant, recognized them, and knew they were the criminals. She says, but you said you didn't see them. He says, well, I remembered their silhouette and movements, so I called the police immediately, especially when I saw they had a gun. She says, but I feel like you saw them at the house during the crime and arranged all this to film what would happen. He says, but that's against the ethics of my profession. This is a crime, and I'm sure of everything you just said. He says, if my colleague were here, he would confirm my words, but you left him to die, and it's clear you're upset. He says, he died doing what he loved. She says, and you filmed him dying, right? He says, that's my job. He leaves the station, innocent of any charges. A full team with 2 cars comes to his company, and he puts them under training. He expands his work further and continues in the work he loved and found himself in. The film ends.